Did you enjoy it? Leave a comment. Leave a comment. Let me know if you enjoyed it or not. But for now, join me and let's see the comments on story play on this story. No, it's not a story, man. It's a lecture. What the f am I talking about? I'm saying. But anyway, yeah. Cosplay pod take. Let's do it.
Son of the god, it done to my home is disguised. I had to argue with niggas, you pay no man. Heard me pack on you boys, I ain't telling no lie. Yeah, lie. Tell me once, can't never fool me again. Don't hate the messenger, man, hate the same. When one thing about facts is when they hit you, feel no pain.
Hey man, y'all know it takes me a minute to eventually say something. Goddamn it. Yeah, my unmute button is really far away. I'm gonna keep making that statement until the disclaimer is understood. You know what I'm saying? Until I don't have to explain nothing. Cause at the same time, man, I'm not gonna lie. I hate explaining myself. Like literally, I hate explaining myself, bro. You know, it just it makes me get to tweaking, and you know what I'm saying, I get all nervous and sweaty, and it's like, yo, nobody needs that energy. Facts, you know what I mean? Nobody needs that energy. So wait, why is my camera chilling weird, bro? Nobody telling me nothing about it. Okay, cannot expose the background at all. We literally outdoors. We literally outdoors. Nah, I'm kidding. Okay, nah, let me stop lying. I'm sorry. Okay, let's get into these comments. Let me do this though. Zoom that in so everybody can see it. Y'all can see it. Y'all straight. Do you guys notice how? Hold on. Do you guys notice how there's 0 ads on his hour-long lectures? Ah. Oh. No, I'm not gonna lie. I've never noticed it though. I've never noticed it. But then again, you know, I mean, like ads from, you know, advertisers that maybe hit him up himself, right? Not advertisers that hit Google up, that hit YouTube up, right? I've never seen an ad like that, like a sponsored ad like that, you know, to him directly. But then again, I'm on a premium account, so I you know, I can tell if there's like a gang of ads. So you know, with that being said, I feel like he's on a higher mission with his thing, right? Might be on a higher mission. Maybe he's not accepting ads, business engagements like that. Maybe this is not that, right? Professor Jiang is truly carrying YouTube right now, bro. I feel it. I feel you. I literally bumped into Professor Jiang's content, I think, like 2 months ago now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm 2 months old knowing Professor Jiang's content, knowing that this man exists. Facts. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna lie. I bumped into his content through Sneeko, you know, on his Sneeko channel, where he posts his VODs from him having been live. You know what I mean? And no, wait, hold on. I may be cap. I think no. I was searching for some content to react to. Oh my god. Oh, let me take that back.
I'm tripping. I had to go back on it. My bad, chat. My apologies. I'm tripping. I had to go back on it. I just had to bring.
See what I'm saying? Hey, it is what it is. Like, you know, shout out Sneeko, what he does. You feel me? But I think I was searching for some content to react to for the Generations POV channel. Yeah, that's what it was. And then I think I saw because I was, you know, I wanted some topics to dive into in terms of, you know, younger generations and the dating pool and things like that. And it was game theory. I can't remember what number it was. I think it was like number 2, 3, maybe 4. You know, Yeah, you know, and then the title was The Dating Game. Right, the dating game. If y'all familiar with Professor Jiang's channel, man, predictive history, go check it out. You know what I mean? It's actually, you know, it's got like some pretty cool content, really informative, really educational. You know what I'm saying? I bumped into that dating game video, and then from there, because you know, I feel like it's his teaching style. He teaches like how he teaches, how he I feel like how he elaborates and you know establishes certain points and you know breaks those down and differentiates and compares and you know what I'm saying refers to this that and the third, like it's cohesive, it makes sense, you know what I mean, it's clear, you feel me. His accent and his speed in speaking English, that kind of throws me off sometimes. I'm not gonna lie. Shout out Professor Jiang, but it really does throw me off. But you know what I'm saying? Like I learned to look past that. It used to be very distracting. I'd be like, I ain't gonna lie. I would imitate how he pronounces words. But you know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's not, man. It's not a sign of disrespect. Please don't. Nobody clip that. It's not a sign of disrespect, you know what I'm saying? I'll be imitating what he says sometimes because it used to be that distracting, right? As I said, I got over that stuff. We good now. And since then, man, like Professor Jiang, how the Sneeko connection connects, right? Is after having bumped into Professor Jiang's content, well, his lectures initially, I think a month later, I saw a Sneeko reaction to it. I was like, oh man, that's that Chinese professor. You know what I'm saying? And then I was like, yo, Sneak is tapped into like some real content, man. You know what I'm saying? And then, you know, even with his channel, I recently just tapped in like on some regular like returning vibe. You know what I'm saying? It's just recent, you feel me? And that's because yo, I was like, man, you listen to Professor Jiang, you got some, you know, some substantial things to offer the world. I'm not gonna lie. You know what I'm saying? What happened, bro? 1 2 1 2, mic check. Why did you have to go to the black screen, brother? You're weird. Stop being weird. I like the contrast between the heaviness of the theme and the lightness of the punctual. Okay. Yeah, that okay. Okay. Because whenever he explains something, he can like hit you with something that's really just astonishing, bro. Something that just like is so surprising. You know, maybe a fact that you didn't know about the world, and maybe you know he's touching on history and something that really happened. You're like, what? You know what I mean? It's so crazy, so like, you know, it hits your gut, bro. Pause. You know what I mean? But then he would just like, yeah, end that with a okay. And I am of the argument that he does that. He has to be kind of, because it gives neutrality. When he does that, it gives like a sort of like a neutral tone. He's a teacher. He cannot show biases. I would guess that's what it is, right? Because if you show your biases, like what are you teaching? You're spreading, you know, whatever biases at that point. Whereas the facts are what's important, right? And how you feel about things. So that okay, it takes his own emotional attachment out of the picture. I would conclude. I'm saying, no ads, no sponsors. Dude, just doing this for the love of the game. So I'm saying, man, like I feel like in his mind, right, he's doing the work of God. Which I feel like it is. You know what I'm saying? It's not enough teachers. You know what I'm saying? I feel like teaching is not respected. It doesn't hold the same integrity as it used to. Being a teacher, or maybe just, but you know what? At the same time, though, with the advent of just content creators, you know, people being online, doing their thing, spreading information. You know what I'm saying? Teaching, to some degree, teaching. You know what I mean? Because you find great videos, great YouTube videos, you know, that could teach you something that school ain't never even taught you. You know what I mean? You know, with regards to subjects that you even learned in school. You might learn some completely different things than what you heard in school. You feel me? And so therefore the element of teaching does still exist. It's just now it's mixed in and, you know, mashed in with just slop, goy. I mean, whoa, goy slop. I want to say goy slop. Well, just slop, brain rot. You feel me? What is that? NSWF, not safe. Oh, NSFW, not safe for work. Kind of content. You know what I'm saying? All type of stuff. Scammers. I mean, yeah. Well, scam ads. All type of stuff, bro. And so therefore, it kind of, you know, it's an amalgamation of a whole bunch of things instead of your go-to, you know, world for just teaching and pure education. You know what I mean? You have to sift through a whole lot of things. And so therefore, you know, the element of teaching is there. It's just that teachers are not you know, respected as they used to. You feel what I mean? And so, you know, Professor Jiang is needed. People like Professor Jiang enough. I wish we could have more of that, right? I wouldn't doubt there are a bunch, like an exponential amount of lecturers or teachers online at the moment. But, you know, people that do it like Professor Jiang, come on, man. One of one. Alright? Please be aware that several channels are using AI to impersonate Professor Jiang. Predictive History is the professor's only YouTube channel. This got what? Jiang already got like AI impersonators? I never knew that. Yo, the nigga really made it. Yo, Professor Jiang? Nah, you him. Nah, you him. Nah, there's literally one channel. Okay, now I know because there are a bunch of channels. Not a bunch of channels. There's this one channel that has his voice, right? So it's his vocal talking, and then the thumbnail is the visual, right? So it's just a still thumbnail, and then he's just speaking. You feel what I mean? Yo, like, I think I kind of subscribed. Because again, bro, it's Professor Jiang's likeness. You know what I mean? I do think the vocal clips are from real lectures. You know, because some of those clips they do be sounding familiar. So damn. So okay, cool. Nah, that's good to know. That Predictive History is the only professor's YouTube channel, right? So take that into consideration, everybody. Right, if y'all want to tap in with the real Professor Jiang, get a Predictive History, that's his channel. Even ESPN couldn't provide this level of analysis for any of its sports. Yeah, nah. They ain't got no Professor Jiangs, bro. Imagine running this administration and having to wait for next Professor Jiang video to drop so you can plan your next move. Oh. Yo, I heard they, you know, I don't know which side. I think it might be, you know, some Iranian people or people that are connected to, that are, you know, associated with Iranian military. I heard, well, this is alleged, you know, I heard they using Professor Jiang's talking points, some of them, to, you know, structure strategies, formulate strategies, and, you know, see what kind of moves could make sense next. Shout out Game Theory, if that is true, right? And again, shout out my boy Sneeko, I heard it from him. Well, from his channel. He was reacting live. He actually had Professor Jiang, he was interviewing Professor Jiang on a live, it was on the live stream, right? And he was like, yo, were you aware, like he was asking Professor Jiang himself, are you aware that, you know, some, I don't know, I can't remember whether he said like Iranian people or whatever, right, are taking notes from your lectures, bro. I was like, people actually are doing that? That's actually pretty deep. I won't lie. Pete Hegseth just approved 2,500 Marines to the Strait of Hormuz. Another correct prediction. Huh. 5 days ago. Never have I felt more eager to attend class in my life. That's what I'm saying, dog. I remember thinking to myself, bro, if all the teachers, because you gotta understand, bro, okay, the education system, the schooling system that I went through, right? We had to switch teachers, like a day in the life of a student, of a day in my life, right, of going to school. The being at school, right, we would switch from class to class, so the students would go from class to class, right? So the switching of teachers, you deal with a whole bunch of teachers, and so therefore dealing with a whole bunch of teachers, it's a whole bunch of personalities. Some teachers you don't like dealing with them, and so therefore that's why you end up failing their subject, right, or module, or whatever, however you call it. But like, I remember just recently thinking to myself, yo, if every teacher that gave me all the subjects that I did in school was like, yo, Professor Jiang, dog, I don't know, like, what kind of, valedictorian type, student I would have been, man. Top 8 student, top 1 of every, like, because the grasp level, right, you grasp things clearer, easier with Professor Jiang, I feel like, right? It's a much simpler, it's an easier teach, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, for like in terms of receiving the teaching on my end. I absolutely agree. I apologize if my theory that nukes won't be used is wrong, but at that point it won't matter because everyone will be dead anyway. Oh yeah. Ah, damn. Yeah, I get it. It took me a little bit, because by the time that nukes are used, nukes will wipe out everybody, all human, civilization. So there won't be anybody beyond that point to come and prove that Professor Jiang was right or wrong. No, if he was wrong. Are we back? Boys, don't worry. I backed up all of Prophet Jiang's videos when YouTube cracks down on the most influential man in our generation. Yeah, he's an important figure right now, I'm not gonna lie. It's crazy how everything he has said is coming true right before our eyes. Prophet Jiang. Yeah, matter of fact, forget calling him Professor Jiang. It's Prophet Jiang. Prophet to you. The professor we all want but never had. Facts. Nah, that's facts, bro. Here. Mike. Oh my god. No. Let me not read that. Thank God we have him now. And future adults too, hopefully. Oh, okay. W him then. Okay, let's see this. I am Iranian. I hope and wish for all nations and countries in the world freedom, peace, and love from all my heart. Very interesting lectures. Thank you for sharing your knowledge. Learned more about geopolitics and US motivation in this hour than 18 years in school. That's actually crazy, bro. I ain't gonna lie, man. Professor Jiang and Predictive History. The Predictive History channel is interesting in that, like, for me, bro, it makes me wanna, tap back in with just knowing more about history again. You feel what I'm saying? And for me, that's very important because he gives, he has his game theory, right? He has his game theory strategy in terms of breaking down certain events, breaking down concepts, events, and even predicting some things, right? Because his lectures and his teachings, he mixes that in with some predictive stuff. You know what I'm saying? Wait, what was my point? Did I just forget my point? Oh nah. Yeah, he just makes me more interested in history again. You know what I mean? Because now I can extrapolate, you know, the whatever he's talking about in terms of game theory. You know, use the principles that he uses to, you know, bring clarity, with whatever concept, whatever topic he's covering, to bring clarity in whatever I'm breaking down, and whatever I'm researching, you know, with regard to history, and as far as history is concerned, you know what I'm saying? And seeing the reasoning and motivation of things, you know, decisions that were made in the past, bro. Imagine being a professor that has millions of students anxious to take your class, bro. Yeah, he literally got, how many students he has now? 2 million, right? I think I saw 2 million something. Where is that now? Yeah, 2 million, 205 million students. Yo, that's crazy, bro. Imagine, yo, you're lecturing a class of like 2 million. Oh. Soldiers are cheap. Yes, that was my whole thing. That's why I was damn near like freaked out by that fact, right? The fact that what he say again? What Professor Jiang? He said it costs less, like within the cost pyramid, right? He was breaking down the cost pyramid of what it takes for, you know, the government to put into the resources that's needed for war. You know what I mean? He was breaking all that down. And then he said it should cost cheaper to produce the soldier than it is to produce aircraft. You know what I'm saying? It's cheaper, but for the U.S. it's more expensive to produce the soldier than it is to produce the aircraft. I think. No, he said it's more cheaper to produce the aircraft. Yeah, than it is to produce the soldier. Soldiers are cheap. You could simply call them pawns. Military men need to hear military men need to hear this. The fact that they're pawns. I wonder why. How many of us hate ads on a productive lecture like this? Please, let's join hands to donate. Oh yeah, nah. And you know what's crazy? I've never even seen him ask for a super chat like once, or maybe, yeah, like, does he even have it set up? Like the whole super chat thing and people can pull up and donate money. I don't even think I've never heard him ask for it.